Morning class 3. So in our literacy and the non-fiction, we are talking about explanation text. So explanation text explains us the process of how or why things happen. Okay, and in yesterday's lesson we discussed the features of an explanation text. So let's quickly recall. An explanation text's title, or the title of an explanation text, is often a question which starts with how or why. Yes, the first paragraph is the introduction. So if the question is how do bees make honey, in the first paragraph we'll talk about honey. Okay, the second paragraph explains the process. Okay, you can add one more paragraph in case if you're not able to explain it in one. So the paragraphs in the middle tells us the process. The last paragraph is the conclusion. Here we'll write just an ending statement. All right, so introduction, explanation, conclusion. We use verbs in present tense while writing an explanation text. We use cause and effect conjunctions, and we support our text with diagram. Yes, we support it with a diagram. Okay, so this was one way of writing an explanation text, which is in the form of paragraphs. We also discussed that an explanation text can be written in a form of a flowchart. Now, when we say flowchart, what do we mean? Yes, flowchart is a diagram that represents a process, or it represents an algorithm. You know what algorithm is? Yes, set of instructions. So, flowchart. So, a flowchart is a diagram made up of boxes and arrows, which represents the process. Okay, what are we looking for? We're looking for a process of how bees make honey. So this information can be given in a form of a flowchart. All right, and here when we write the flowchart, or when we make a flowchart, the information inside the boxes is generally in points. And these points are specific points, which is to the points. We don't write any other information. We just write to the point information which is required. Unlike the explanation text written in a paragraph. When we write a paragraph, we write other things as well, isn't it? Good to know information means the information which is good to know. However, when we write it in the form of a flowchart, we write the main points. Okay, we write the important information. All right, okay, so let's see. This was the assignment which was given yesterday. You were supposed to make a flowchart on how do bees make honey, right? Let's start reading. Honey is a food made by bees. Bees collect nectar from the flowers. The nectar is taken to the beehive. Bees transform this nectar to honey, and this is how honey is made. Yes or no? These arrows, they tell you the sequence. If you wish, you can add one more point here, that beekeepers collect honey from beehives. You can do that, okay? But if you haven't done it, still this flowchart of yours is absolutely correct. All right, good. So now do we understand that we can write an explanation text in paragraphs? Okay, we can also write an explanation text in a form of a flowchart. Okay, we know that an explanation of a process could be written in paragraphs. Yes, we can explain something by writing it in paragraphs. We can also represent an explanation through a flowchart. We can write the process in a flowchart. Can you think of any other way apart from writing the explanation in paragraphs or making a flow chart? Is there any other way of explaining a process? Yes, there is. And this one is going to be a bit interesting. So, this is known as a picture chart. Okay? So, you can explain a process by simply drawing the pictures and writing the caption. So, if you look at it, what do you see? A bee sucking nectar from the flower. Then the bee is there, it's taking it to the beehive and it's making honey here. And the third picture, look at the arrow. There's a beekeeper who actually takes honey from the beehive, and this is how we get the honey. Alright, so we can represent the same information, okay, the explanation, through pictures as well. So an explanation text can also be explained. We can explain the process of through pictures. The picture should have caption in it. All right. Okay. So now we know 3 ways of representing an explanation text. The first one is known as the explanation text, which is written in paragraphs. The second way of doing it is to write it in the form of a flow chart. And the third one is to draw pictures to explain the process. Alright? Great. So now it's the time for your assignment. So the assignment for this week is to draw a picture chart of how do bees make honey. Okay, so you all will draw a picture chart of how do bees make honey. This is what I've done for your reference. Along with this, I want you to draw a picture chart of how to prepare a glass of lemonade. All right. So you are going to draw 2 picture charts or pictorial charts. Okay, that's known as pictorial charts. So what are you going to do? First, you'll draw a pictorial chart for how do bees make honey, and the second one is how to prepare a glass of lemonade. You'll draw pictures to represent the process. Don't forget to put the caption. The caption is always written below the picture. All right, or the photograph. All right, children. So this is all for today in your literacy lesson. Complete this work this week, probably by Friday, and then share it in the group. I would love and wait to see your pictorial charts explaining the process. Is that okay? Thank you then. Bye.